Hey guys, today I want to be talking about binge eating because I feel like I don't see a lot of people talking about it. And I don't know if it's something that like a lot of people just don't go through or if it's something that a lot of fitness influencers try to hide or, like what the case might be. But I don't see anybody talking about binge eating, or I don't see that many people talk about it at least. But I want to make this video for the people out there that do struggle with it because it's something that I've been dealing with kind of on and off for the past year now. And it takes a toll on you mentally, honestly. It really is like demoralizing, and it can kind of take over your life a little bit. So for the people out there that do struggle with it, I really want to be there to try and give my advice and try and help them out in any way that I can. I want to preface this by saying like I'm not any kind of doctor or anything. If there's any real mental struggle that you're going through, I can only give you my advice. I can't give you like professional advice. So if you need to contact a professional, do that. I'm just some kid on the internet who has been through some stuff. And if this is something you've never gone through, I'm really jealous because this is hard to deal with. So I'm going to be going over what is binge eating, why do we do it, and how can we break the cycle of binge eating. So binge eating is when you eat a large amount of food in a short amount of time and you feel you can't control what or how much you are eating. Okay, so now we know what binge eating is, but why do we do it? If you'll take a look at my masterclass of a graph right here, whenever we're put in any kind of stressful environment, we go to food as a coping mechanism for comfort. And then afterwards, we feel guilt, we feel shame, we feel regret, and now all these kind of negative, sad emotions. And then we're put back into a stressful environment. So what do I consider a stressful environment then? When I say stressful environment, I mean literally like it could be in a stressful situation. Like I'll say this, I'll be honest. Last night I had a binge, okay? So why did I binge? I'll use myself as an example. For me lately, it's been trying to restrict calories and school mainly. So when you're restricting calories, your cortisol goes up because your body doesn't like to be in an energy deficit. So your body's like constantly stressed out because you want food, but you aren't giving yourself food. So then your cortisol goes up, and with it, so does your ghrelin too. And then outside of a calorie deficit, a stressful environment, like for me lately, like I said, has been school. School has been really kicking my butt lately. If you guys follow me on TikTok, you'll see that yesterday I bombed my exam. Last night I was supposed to submit this lab report, and I didn't submit it because I just can't be bothered anymore. So with that being said, we go to food as comfort. Because for one, eating food feels and tastes really good. It's positive feedback, more dopamine. It's something that you want to cling to. And then also if you're in a calorie deficit, like you don't really get to feel full. And feeling full feels good, especially when you're really depleted and you haven't felt full in a really long time. So the stressful environment, either through a calorie deficit or through whatever life is throwing at you, leads to eating food to seek comfort, to try and ease that pain of whatever you're going through. But you don't really think about, at least in the moment, or maybe you do think about it, but you're in the
Have you ever had a dream that that
you're in the binge already. Like you can't, it's hard to get out of the binge once you're in it. But let's say in the moment and afterwards you feel guilt, you feel shame, you feel regret, you feel all these kind of negative emotions, and afterwards you fall back into that stressful environment where you're either restricting food, doing a lot of cardio and stuff to try and negate that binge that you just went through, or maybe you're just feeling really down in the dumps now, so now you're even more stressed than before because you just regret what you just did. You fall back into that stressful environment, and then the cycle continues. So what can we do to try and break free from this cycle then? For me, when I think back on when I was in my best shape, it wasn't like I was trying to be in the best shape of my life. Like I just happened to be. I think a big mistake when it comes to fitness and falling into this loop of binge eating is hyperfixation. For me, I never struggled with binge eating until I became hyperfixated on food and restricting food and making sure I was doing everything right. Whereas back when I was playing like football, basketball, just being like a normal kid, just doing whatever, I could eat whatever, do whatever, go about my day. There would be days when I make it to dinner and like maybe like I'm with my dad and he'll ask me like, what'd you eat today? And I'm like, I had like something, and then like I guess that was it, because I was just so distracted that day and I wasn't hyperfixated on food. Like it didn't even occur to me that I had to eat. It's just something I wasn't focused on. So why do I bring that up? In this cycle, we have to reduce the stress that we're facing in our life. Now, if you're going through a calorie deficit, like a cutting phase, a fat loss phase, you're going to face some level of stress, and you're just going to have to kind of deal with that, to be honest. So what can you do besides that? For me, I think about what really matters to me in this world, right? So for me, that would be like relationships with my friends and family, being grateful for what I have in this world, who I have, things like that. I said this in my other video, but like meditating, praying, journaling. Yoga is something that I think a lot of people should incorporate, something that I'm going to be trying to incorporate a lot more. But even just things like hobbies. Like how can we get our mind off of food? How can we almost just like distract ourselves from food? How can we make fat loss almost just like a byproduct of everything that we're doing in our life and not the goal of what we're trying to get at in our life? So now, when we look back at this cycle, how can we turn a stressful environment into a positive environment to get rid of that want to binge in the first place? Once you're able to really sit down and address what's really wrong in your life, like for me last night, I realized that like school is really stressing me out. I've been kind of stressing myself out, honestly, because I realized that I'm making a lot of empty promises and I can't come through on those promises, or it at least feels that way. That's kind of like where a lot of my stress comes from, and just kind of neglecting my friends and family, just not really focusing on the things that really matter, because you shouldn't make fat loss your top priority necessarily. Fitness and fat loss should be a part of your life. It shouldn't be your whole life, unless like you're in a sport or something, you know, or like your college tuition is based off of your sports performance, or like, you know, something like that. But if you're just some average guy like me, don't hyperfixate on fitness. Don't make it like the end all be all to your life. You know what I mean? Fitness should add to your life. It should make positive differences in your life. It shouldn't be the opposite way. And if you find yourself going down that spiral, really take a step back and think about what's missing in your life, or how can you make fitness fun again? Like for me, I just got done playing basketball. I love playing basketball. I love sports. I don't love hyperfixating on food. So the more that I can do something that I enjoy through fitness, the less of a stressful environment I can have, and the more positive environment I can have instead. So find whatever it is in your life that can make fitness more enjoyable again. Sit down with yourself and really think about what besides fitness in your life really matters to you. How can you address those different aspects? How can you be happy right now with what you have in your life, who you have in your life, everything like that? And things start to become a lot more clear. So now we've addressed turning a stressful environment into a positive environment. Next in the cycle, what are some healthy coping mechanisms that we can turn to? I kind of touched on it already, but talking to loved ones, whether it be friends or family, maybe you do need to talk to a professional, an actual therapist, not just listen to whatever I'm spewing. Maybe playing the game with your friends is all you need after a long day. Maybe going outside for a nice walk. The weather's starting to get pretty nice sometimes, because in the Midwest, it seems to like really go back and forth. But maybe getting outside, going fishing, going hiking, just seeing the sun, tanning, journaling, meditating, yoga, praying, reading, coloring. I have this coloring notebook that I can probably grab here in a second. Look at this. Look how cute that is. Aww. But yeah, art, like painting, drawing, coloring, music, whatever it is in this world that gives you more reason to live. Honestly, turn to that. Don't fall victim to what I do and seek comfort through food, because that can really turn into something dangerous really quickly. And I don't want that for you guys. And if you're going through it yourself, then I'm sure you don't want that for yourself either. So go to whatever healthy coping mechanism that you can find during your times of stress instead of food, and see how that really changes your life. So now, finally, the third thing in the cycle of binge eating. How can we turn whatever stressful feelings that we're dealing with into things like patience, understanding, and being proud of yourself? If you are actively going through binge eating, you can flip your mindset even right now. Let's say you're like me and last night, for example, you binge ate. I'm still patient with myself. I'm still understanding, and I still am proud of who I am. And you guys should feel the same way, no matter if you're currently going through a binge eating phase, if you did just binge eat, like whatever the case may be. You have to love yourself no matter what. Was there ever any real positive change in you telling yourself that like you don't love yourself? Or was there ever any good that came out of not being patient with yourself during times where you struggled with, you know, let's say binge eating or anything really? You are the only person that you're with 24/7. If you can't be your best friend, whether you're going through a high or going through a low, if you can't be there for yourself, how do you expect things to get better? Love yourself enough to know that like, even if you messed up, even if things didn't go right, that it's gonna be okay, and that you can still do something about it. Because whatever happened in the past, like, do you have a time machine? Like, are you able to go back and change that? No. And if you do, then talk to me, because I have a lot of things that I really need to change from my past. But my point though is like, you can't do anything about what's already been done. And even if you did just binge eat, like you can't try and restrict food and do a bunch of cardio to try and burn it off. Hypothetically, you can, but the bad thing with that is that you can't punish yourself after a binge. This is the part of the cycle where you fall back into that stressful environment, because the more that you try and balance out the binge with a bunch of cardio and not a lot of food, the more emotions that you attach to binge eating and food, but you can't attach feelings to binge eating. For me, last night after my binge, I was upset. I'll be honest, like I was pretty upset. I thought I had gotten over it, and I guess I didn't. But today I'm not like going super ballistic crazy trying to negate what I did, because it's whatever, I'll say the one thing that really helped me get over binge eating is, well, I mean, obviously like I'm not fully over it, but I'm not doing it every day. Like back in the summer, I was binge eating like multiple times a week. I overate the other day, but I wouldn't call it binge. And then yesterday I binged. So like I'm headed in the right direction at least. One thing that really helped me is you just have to kind of move on, honestly. It's in the past. Don't try and do anything about it. Don't try and kill yourself with cardio and low calories because you're just falling back into that stressful environment and you're just continuing the cycle. And you can't do that. You literally just have to pretend like nothing happened the previous day or even like right after your binge. Like literally just move on. Just continue forward in life. There was never any kind of positive in dwelling on something that's went wrong for you. So literally the next day, just don't even worry about it. Get it out of your mind. Act like it never happened because you should be living in the present moment. So like for all you know, it didn't happen because you can't control that. You can't control the future. You can only control right now. So right now, make the decision to just let it go. The more optimistic that you can be after a binge, the less stress you'll feel. The more you can start to fall into this positive cycle where you're no longer binge eating. The biggest takeaway from everything that I've said is that binge eating is just a product of a multitude of factors. I can't remember right now what it's called, but it's like when you see a result, it's not so much like what directly led into whatever just happened. Like in this case, it's not like 100% of the time that you're just eating so much food because you're actually that hungry. Like sometimes it might feel like that if like you just got done cutting or if you're in the middle of a cut or something like that. So it might feel like you really are that hungry. But sometimes it has nothing to do with food. Sometimes it is just a bunch of different factors of stuff that's going on outside of fitness in your life. So as much as this video is about binge eating, it really is just about overcoming really like any kind of addiction. That's all binge eating really is, to be honest. It's like an addiction to food, which that's really hard. You need food to live. So every time that you're faced with food, maybe you have the fear that you're gonna binge. It's not something that you can run away from. And it's not like water where like, you know, if you have too much water, like you might just pee a lot. After a certain point, you just won't want water anymore. But with food, it's different. With food, it's like, you can just keep going all day. So yeah, like I said, binge eating is really just kind of like an addiction to food. But even using these methods to try and address other addictions that you have in your life, like I think these could apply to anything else. It's just that in this case, my addiction would be like to really good freaking food. I wanted to try and talk about things outside of fitness, outside of food, that you can do to stop binge eating. Because if you do get hungry or anything, like you can try and go for a walk or like drink a bunch of water, drink carbonated drinks, stuff like that, which that can work. But there's a lot of underlying details that go into binge eating that I wanted to address in this video. Because I know there's been times for me when like it hasn't been about the food. It hasn't been about like the fact that I was hungry. Because sometimes I'm not hungry and I still will fall into a binge. That's why I bring up it's not just about the food. Like there's other factors at play that go into binge eating. And I just want to be honest with people out there because like I don't know who's going to stumble across this video, but maybe there's somebody out there who feels kind of alone. Like I said at the start of the video, that I don't see that many people talking about binge eating, and I don't know if they're trying to hide whatever struggles that they're going through to like make themselves look cooler, or if a lot of people just like don't go through this, but it's like a really real thing. And I hope that this video can help somebody out there who's going through it and let them know that like it's okay. Like even somebody like me who has a really high knowledge on food and fitness, even I go through it sometimes. Even I'm not invincible. And I bet you a lot of people that you watch online probably go through it sometimes too. Maybe they're just afraid to talk about it. Maybe they're afraid that they'll look weak or like it might hurt their brand or something, you know? But it's really real. And if you guys feel alone, if you do go through it, then watch this video because I go through it. Why do you think I'm wearing this? This is like a size medium shirt. It's a baggy black tee. I'm wearing it because I binge ate last night. I felt freaking bloated and huge this morning. So like if you're going through it, you aren't alone. I go through it. I've been there. It's something that I think we are in control of, and that's something that you have to reassure yourself of if you do go through it. But I'm hoping that this video helps you guys so that maybe you never go through it again. And that would be the end goal for myself and for you guys. Like the end goal would be that none of us go through it anymore. But I think I'm going to end it there. If there's anything I didn't clarify that maybe you guys are wondering about, like ask questions, hit me up. I'm not going anywhere. So I'll see you guys.